I'm here today with our colleague Caleb Brown. And Caleb, hot take to start, Iowa State football game this weekend. Who's going to win and why?
I believe Iowa's going to win.
Okay.
They're going to go into Ames and take care of business. And the why is just because they're better.
All right. Well, by the time you watch this, we'll know the answer. So, bold prediction. I also need to compliment you on your hair, Caleb. You recently got a haircut, but I have to admit that you get some of the best haircuts here at Foster Group.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Where do you get it done?
There's a guy downtown called Tony Sadiq who does his own style, and he is a little bit of an artist, so he just does his thing, and I just pay him. And I do get a lot of compliments for my hair, so thanks for noticing.
Yeah, it does look good. I get mine cut at Great Clips.
Yeah, and there's a difference there.
Thank you. So I'll ask this kind of rhetorically because I know the answer because you and I talk a lot, but do you like your job?
I do. I love my job.
What do you like about it?
I like mostly the people. Mm-hmm. People being the people within the firm, and then also the clients I work with. I also love the work itself. And so that initially drew me here, but it's really been the people since I've been.
Well, one of the things that struck me, and probably why I asked this, is you and I have talked and you've said, I feel like I'm doing the thing I was made to do.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, Foster Group could probably pay me less money. I shouldn't probably say that out loud, but I love what I do, and I show up every day with excitement, and that means I'm not really working, so it's kind of enjoyable.
I know you've been here longer than me, but how long have you been here again?
Just a little over 9 years.
Okay, 9 years. And how has your perspective changed on your role over those 9 years?
Well, initially I started as an associate advisor, which is more of like an apprenticeship role, and in that role, it was all about learning the trade and the skills you need to be a good lead advisor. And over time, then I became a lead advisor. So leading meetings, doing financial planning work, but also helping clients face to face has been the role.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I've observed in our working together is that you made a switch from seeing your role just as all I do here is serve our clients to now you serve your clients. But you also have taken a major interest in developing the next generation of our advisors. How did that perspective change for you?
Yeah, that's been really enjoyable. I have a bit of a teaching heart. So for me, it's been able to take that next generation of advisors as we continue to grow and just kind of give them all the wisdom and knowledge and education that I have in hopes that maybe they could do the same thing with those around them and then down the road, the future.
And one of the things I know is that Caleb meets weekly with the associates he works with. He gives them all kinds of opportunities to lead in meetings, and then they debrief those meetings too, kind of what went well, what could we do better. I personally have really appreciated the work that you've done in helping develop our future advisors here at Foster Group. So Caleb, what do you think our clients most appreciate about working with you, working with Foster Group? What do they value the most?
I think the relationship is probably the thing they value the most. And what I mean by that is we've got the things we're doing for them behind the scenes, building them a financial situation that they can visually see. Think about the goals and the hopes that they have, being able to show those and give them some visuals and clarity about their future. Mm-hmm. What I've seen happen over time is clients will maybe come in initially somewhat guarded, and over time that relationship develops, and there's a trust being built, and they're seeing what we're doing for them, and ultimately it leads to a place of peace of mind. And I always tell folks my favorite comment I get from a client, it's the best compliment really, is when they tell me that they don't even think about what we're doing, they don't even think about their financial situation. They've sort of given that to us.
Mm-hmm. When you see clients get to that place where they move from maybe they were uncertain, they were hesitant, and all of a sudden now it's like, not only do they not worry, but they're kind of looking forward to things. What have you seen them be able to do as a result of that?
Yeah, I think that's financial freedom, really. Mm-hmm. So you can quantify what that might be, but when they get to that place, then it opens up the door for some of the fun stuff. Maybe traveling or adventures that they want to do. Maybe it's giving to charitable organizations they care about, but it's a great place to be because they're no longer trying to just save as much as they can, but they're trying to figure out, what am I going to do with all this money?
Mm-hmm. We're going to come back to the fun stuff, but I want to take it in the opposite direction first. What's the worst money decision you've ever made?
Yeah, so for some people, buying homes has been a good deal. For us, it hasn't. When we bought our first home in 2006, it was sort of at the peak of the market before the Great Recession, And so we sold it, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, or 8 or 9 years later at a loss. And then we also put in quite a bit of money too. So the timing just was really awful.
Mm-hmm. And then alternatively now, the fun stuff. What's some of the best decisions you made about your money?
Yeah, I would say I've had a shift a little bit in thinking there. Mm-hmm. So a few years ago, I read a book called, I think it's Happy Money. And the book was all about these different ways that you could spend money and actually receive some enjoyment out of that. And that was a foreign concept for me. As a financial advisor, I'm always thinking, I know the numbers. I understand how if you save early and invest over the long term, you really have a good outcome. And so saving and investing comes easy, but spending not as easy for me. And so maybe a few years ago, we shifted to really trying to do a vacation. I actually had a client tell me, always take a vacation every single year. And I sort of took that to heart. And so we've been doing that, and it's been great.
Mm-hmm. And surprising. Now, if you had a magic wand that you could wave, and it would help people do or not do something related to their money, what would you want that magic wand to accomplish? What would you hope they wouldn't do or they would do?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple, but also very hard to do, is ignore the financial news and then maybe just don't look at your accounts so often. So I think technology is great. We can all get all that information every single moment, really. But what happens, I think, is when things aren't going so well, we automatically think, maybe I should change something. Maybe it's time to adjust, and that's actually the worst time typically. So what I always tell clients, if they're willing to listen, is, check the financial news never, and then also just check your investment accounts, maybe once a year, twice a year.
So let's see. We want to be a hopeful and optimistic presence in the lives of our clients. So what gives you hope?
Yeah, I tend to be pretty optimistic. So I look at the future more as things are getting better, not necessarily worse. And I know that's can be annoying to people, and it can also be a bit counterculture because we have a society that seems like it's fairly negative. But if you take inventory where we're at today, historically, is we're in much better shape than where we were 100 years ago or 500 years ago. And so I don't necessarily think that it's going to get worse. I would just say history tends to repeat itself. We might be getting better.
Now, last question is, what do you like to do when you're not here at Foster Group?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I think a lot about Foster Group even when I'm not here. That's just how my mind works. But when I'm not here, I like, being around my family. I like being outdoors. The pandemic was one thing that kind of led me to the outdoors. Is when that happened, it was like we were forced to just be inside all the time, and that drove me bonkers. And so I started walking more, hiking more, running more, all those things outside. I found a lot of joy in that. So I try to get outside as much as I can.
Yeah. And Caleb lifts weights as well right now.
And I do strength training, yes.
Yeah. Well, Caleb, thanks so much for joining us today. I love working with you.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. And I love the work that you do with and for our clients too.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.